For many years, I've heard the stories of the infamous Kirby Road in Vaughan, Ontario, but it wasn't until recently that I was able to look into it. I was driving to a pre-wedding party at my cousin's groom-to-be's house, and I noticed that the road it was on, Stephanie Boulevard, was right off of this Kirby Road that I've heard the rumors about before. Supposedly, this road often fools with your radio. Your car won't start and all sorts of things that lead people to believe that it's haunted. When I researched this, I found a wonderful blog, which I do owe a great deal of credit for to further my discoveries, as she was able to explain some of the legends around this road, and supposedly 2 haunted houses there as well, and a solitary tombstone of a teenage girl located on the road. I'll be focusing on one aspect of the haunted Kirby Road on this blog. Quote, "There are 3 stories concerning these houses. The first one is reported to have a reputation of crying babies and laughing children that most certainly are not there, and a tombstone with the words, 'Selena, I was a cute child,' written on it nearby a house. It's also reputed that if you park your vehicle in the driveway and sit quietly, the little girl, Selena, will run around your vehicle while tapping on it here and there." End quote. And sure enough, I came back from visiting the site for the first time and eventually did find Selena's tombstone. The tombstone is quite unique, not only because of the very peculiar "I'm a cute kid" epitaph, but because of the last name, typeface, and obviously the location. It's located 3 lampposts or streetlights away from the supposedly haunted house, a house my companion and I had decided that we were going to go see after the tombstone. However, plans do change. We did not see the apparition of Selena, didn't hear her laugh or cry, or see anything spookier than a rural road at 1:30 a.m. would be. But part of the legend is Kirby Road includes a truck that will supposedly chase away anyone who comes to investigate it, then suddenly disappear. Some accounts say it's red, some say that it only has 1 headlight. After we were looking at Selena's stone, we decided that we were going to wait till a moving car passed us by, so that it would be slightly safer to walk on the shoulder of the road. But it didn't pass. It pulled over right in front of us and Selena's tombstone. It was a pickup truck, but this one had both headlights, and one that we thought was black. The windows weren't rolled down and nobody got out of the truck. My companion and I found that it was as good a time as any to get out of there, and we proceeded to go back to my car, which we had parked over on Stephanie Road, just under a half a kilometer away. The truck didn't move from its spot for at least 5 minutes. I remind you that this was at like 1:30 in the morning. I suppose that it's entirely possible that the driver just saw 2 people on the side of the road and decided to pull over to see what was going on. Or they too knew what Selena's tombstone was and just happened to be visiting it at the same time. But the fact that no one got out of the car or approached us was in a way peculiar. And the fact that it was a pickup truck at least was a little eerie coincidentally. We didn't get a chance to investigate the house. I know I will certainly make another trip there, as I still do have so much left to discover. Who's Selena? Why does she have a tombstone on the side of the road? What stories about Kirby Road are true? How are they related, if at all? I'm being a little bit dishonest here, as I have discovered the answers to a few of these questions already, but we'll save that for another time, for now. Now let's look at the blog post in full. This past Friday, we decided to check out the 2 houses that we heard about on Kirby Road in Maple, Ontario. It was an interesting experience to say the least. I saw something that would blow my mind, and it's not the first time I've seen a possible apparition. I'll get to that in a little bit. There are 3 stories concerning these houses. The first house is reported to have a reputation of crying babies and laughing children that are not there, and a tombstone with the words, "Selena, I was a cute child," written upon it nearby the house. It's also reputed that if you park your vehicle near the driveway and sit quietly, the little girl, Selena, will run around your vehicle and tap on it here and there. I did not experience this suspected phenomenon, but I did see what I believe to be a young girl, around the age of 8 or 9 years old, with a nightgown on, long black hair, sitting in the second tree, the one on the right when you're walking onto the property from the driveway. She was staring back at me. She was leaning outward and staring right at me, It scared the living shit out of me when I caught this apparition out of the corner of my eye, and I turned back to see what I thought was just a shadow. But there it was, clear as day. But then again, I am a believer in the paranormal. We did some voice recordings and photography of this place as well, and we have some interesting photos and recordings of both houses. I'm still trying to go through all of it. The people who own this land are in the process of renovations, and I do not recommend trespassing on people's property. Always ask first before you go paranormal investigating. Always get permission from the owners of the property. And they've torn down the chicken coop as well as being in the process of tearing down the barn. Or renovating it, I'm not sure which. Here are some of the items we found in the basement. An old Italian workbook, an old picture book, circa 1854, a Triumph dirt bike, possibly late 40s or early 50s, horseshoes looking very old and very worn. The main house is locked and it's being renovated for occupancy, or possibly occupied already. Again, I must stress this. Make sure you always ask permission before you enter a property. There's also a story of a one-headlight semi-truck that passes under the bridge before you get to the house, and through your vehicle if you park there. Apparently, and I can neither confirm nor deny with any research at this point, this semi-truck was involved in a horrible accident many years back. It may be an urban legend spin-off from the second house that I'm about to talk to you about. You'll see why in a second. The second house, or rather set of houses, has two houses on the property, two barns, and the flooring on both are pretty dangerous. If you do decide to go check these out, at the other end of Kirby Road by the way, watch your footing and bring good flashlights. Make sure to keep an eye out for skunks, raccoons, and bats. This house is called the Hell House. It has a reputation to have been owned by a family of 7, where the father was involved in the KKK. It's also reputed to be the first larger barn, the gathering place for the KKK. The story goes that the father went nuts and killed his entire family, including a little girl of the same age as the first house. There you'll find a lot of graffiti that says, "You're not alone, murder is awesome," as well as, "I'm watching you." Obviously, this was added later by human hands just to amp up the hype that these houses are haunted. It is said, and it's also possible that the urban legend transferred to the semi-truck with one headlight, and the other truck phenomenon at the other house, that a man in a red pickup truck will chase you out of the property. If he catches you, then he'll disappear into thin air. There's also a story of a young woman who is walking on the road. She suddenly screams and then runs into a nearby cornfield screaming bloody murder. This is purported to be about a woman who was attacked, raped, and then murdered in the cornfield near the property. She's supposed to disappear into the cornfield if you follow her. Now, I cannot confirm nor deny any of these stories by research alone at this point. Neither in architectural history or in land history or anything in old newspapers or obituaries as of yet. I can't find any of these other stories either. And we never did find the tombstone. However, I have been told that a few friends of friends who regularly hang out in these areas have seen the tombstone, and report being chased by both a red pickup truck and a semi-truck with one missing headlight, as well as seeing a woman in the cornfields. How accurate these stories are, I don't know, but I do know that I am sure that I saw something that night that is unexplainable. All 19 of us present at both sites were adults, no children. So how is it I saw a child in a tree at 1 a.m. on a Saturday morning? I can't explain it, but I will be researching it, and I will update if I ever do find any information on any of these properties. Well, that was a little bit of a different story. I didn't hate it, but I kind of like these true horror story things. I don't know if I'll ever do any narrations about them, but as always, if you have any content suggestions, please make sure you send them over to me so I can take a look at them and maybe do it. And again, guys, I am sorry about all the short stories recently. I am doing a lot behind the scenes, but there are some longer form stuff coming down the pipeline, so just stick around for that. Make sure you like and share it out. But I do want to thank all the $10 patrons currently listed on screen right now: Dan R, Neophyte Games, Chaos X, Mr. Swiston, Official, Jerboa JY, Pyromancer, Hayden MH, Ethan A, Daniel H, Maximilian Charles P, Deneen H, Go Go Cute Puppy LLC, and Young Sykes. Guys, thank you all so much.